Following the Great War, Oxford University Mountaineering Club was reformed in the autumn of 1920, once again in the student accommodation of Balliol College. This time, it was H.R.C. Carr who was instrumental in gathering together undergraduate mountaineers in Oxford and immediately reforming ties with the Cambridge University Mountaineering Club. The two clubs held their first joint meet in the winter of 1920 at the Pennygwyd Hotel in North Wales, and George Mallory was once again invited as a dinner guest in 1922. Compared to the club formed by Lunn in 1909, the new OUMC would be much more familiar to today's members. As well as two formal dinners each year, official club meets took place each vacation, traditionally in Wales in winter, the Lake District or Snowdonia at Easter, and the Alps every summer. Membership grew rapidly throughout the 1920s, and the club's continuing future was assured. The OU Women's Mountaineering Club was established in 1924, followed by the A.C. Irvine Travel Fund in 1926. Joint dinners were held with CUMC, the OAC and the Climbers Club, and in December 1926 the president was invited for the first time as a guest of the Alpine Club. Much of the success of the club in those days was due to the dedication of Herbert Carr, whose name recurs throughout the histories not only of OUMC, but also the Climbers Club and the Alpine Club. Indeed, it has been written of Carr that there are times in the early 20s when he appears to have kept British climbing going almost single-handedly. And during those days, Oxford mountaineering was at the forefront both of Carr's activities and of the British climbing scene. In the early 1930s, a revival of climbing in Cambridge, brought about by CUMC members such as Longland, Watkins, Waller and Lloyd, began a gradual split between the two clubs, and by 1935 Oxford and Cambridge were producing independent journals. Despite an apparent dominance of Cambridge climbers on the UK scene in the 30s, OUMC continued to flourish overseas, with climbs that pushed the standards of the day, including Hoyland and Wand's 1934 ascent of the Grepon that was years ahead of its time. In the Caucasus, an OUMC team led by Robin Hodgkin made many first ascents, and in the Himalayas, the club came close to success on Mashabra. The days of university expeditions to the Himalayas were yet to come, but this was a foretaste of what the future held.